oh, I'm eating clean, I'm eating dirty, I'm going to cheat meals. I hate cheat. Like that, the whole idea of cheat's stupid. You wouldn't cheat on your partner. Why would you cheat on your diet? My name is Nate Palmer. I am a health and nutrition boy, I guess, you could say. I've been doing this since like 2008. So I started off as a personal trainer back in the day. Generally speaking, kind of my foray into exercise and nutrition becomes from not being happy with who I was, being skinny fat my entire life, trying to gain muscle and lose fat and, look jacked like all the magazine, like I grew up in the 80s. I wanted to look like Schwarzenegger and all the action heroes then, so I remember a specific time in high school. I don't know if this is what you're asking or not, but there's this girl that she came up to me, Christine Jeffries, hottie, right? And she was like, yo, show me your arms. I was like, all right, Christine, yes. I'm like, you want to talk about like Big Dub Diesel? You want to talk about the boss? And she turns to her friend, she goes, see, I told you his arms were smaller than yours. Ooh. Dagger, right? And I just remember that being a moment where I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to work out for the rest of my life or just not. So I tried all the diets. I did all the workouts. I did P90X and Orange Theory, and nothing seemed to work for me. And so so much so, I literally got a job in a gym as a personal trainer, still kind of rocking the same skinny fat, like idea, just because I was like, I got to figure this out. What, like, my identity and my value in life is dependent upon this sort of thing. So, then in like 2014, a magazine had hit me up, Breaking Muscle, and they were like, hey, can you write an article for us about fitness and nutrition? And I was like, sure, do that all the time. And they're like, but we want you to approach it from like, how do you develop all day energy rather than how do you lose fat, build muscle, that sort of thing. So I'd never really gone down that road before. So I started doing some research, reading a bunch of different studies, talking to different people. And what I found was super surprising. It was that when you started prioritizing daily energy in terms of your fitness and your nutrition, rather than focusing on cutting carbs, depleting calories, tracking macros, you actually ended up with way better results way faster. So it was at this point when I started changing my diet to sort of fit this, that I was like, oh, wow, like it's actually working. Something's actually kicking off. And I started developing like the body and the mentality to match it that I'd always wanted. And so from there, my mission became, how do I teach people how to develop that energy in all things that they do so that they can get off the diet and exercise roller coaster, stop gaining and losing the same 10 pounds over and over again, and just have a ton of energy all the time and look and feel the way they want. Because I think there's so much power there. Most of the people I talk to are, it's like guys like us, we're entrepreneurial dads, we're parents, we're busy. We have so much stuff going on that like fitness is nice, right? Rocking a six pack would be nice, but really it's like, how do I show up huge in my business as a leader? How do I show up huge as a leader in my family, in my community? And for all those things, energy is everything.
Nice. That's awesome. And I love this approach, like all day energy versus like, just trying to look at the physical, just trying to, lose 10 pounds and gain it back and all that, the common trends that you see people have. So what were some of the big distinctions you had around all day energy, that are maybe like, little secrets that you uncovered that maybe the rest of the world isn't quite hip to yet? What would you say to that?
One of the biggest ones is this whole 6 meals per day myth, right? Do you know where this came from, by the way? You've heard this, right?
Keeps your metabolism high. I don't know where it came from though. What is it? Like Weight Watchers? I have no idea.
You know the brand Metrix, MET-RX?
Yep.
Okay, so in like 91, they came out with a protein powder, tasted like chalk. It was awful. And in order to sell that, they took the De Beers route and were like, what you need to do to get muscles, right? You need to eat 6 times per day. And 3 of those, by the way, should be protein shakes. And by the way, we happen to have this great protein shake for you to take. So They created a whole marketing campaign around 6 meals per day. And now we're just eating that shit up, right? We're like, 6 meals per day, tilapia and broccoli, eat a bunch of snacks. And that is one of the things that is going to crush your energy the most, because when you are eating all the time, what you do is you actually pull blood from your brain, you pull it from your appendages, and you pull it into your gut. So you can never have vibrant energy when you're digesting. Digesting is its own activity. So I try to teach people, let's get off the snacking bandwagon. Let's get off the 6 meals per day bandwagon. Let's bring that down to 2 or 3 meals per day. And that way we're giving our body the nutrients it needs at the right times. And then making sure that you're not always in a constant state of digestion where you're just at 60%, which is where people live at. And they think that's normal. So people sometimes will come to me and do this, like the stuff I tell them, and they're like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I feel superhuman. I'm like, guess what? You don't. You feel normal. That's just how you're supposed to feel.
That's great. I love it.
I really appreciate this topic because I mean, my my whole family was bodybuilders. My dad was a bodybuilder. My older brothers were bodybuilders. My sister's real into yoga, and I was like, you know, 50 pounds overweight going into high school. I was a big boy. So I love the health topic because this is something I've been very curious on for a majority of my life because I've heard about it, but for some reason there was a disconnect. So I would love to hear from you of like, if there was someone listening, me, who has this disconnect on what I'm consuming versus what I know. Like, it's like, I know what to do, but sometimes I don't necessarily follow through. And oftentimes like habitual patterns settle in or momentum begins where it's just like, let me just stay in this pattern. So what are your thoughts on pattern interrupts? What are your thoughts on just like how to shift the momentum, anything under that topic, I'd be interested.
Yeah. And it's not just you, Mike. I ate half a bag of Sun Chips last night before bed. So, might as well get all the confessions out here. So, Nate, help us.
Hey, while we're on it though, I did have a chocolate chip cookie last night and it was incredible.
There we
just
go.
One? Oh.
Just one. I only baked two. So my wife got one and I got one. I would have eaten hers if she wasn't around though. That's a fact.
Yeah. Me too.
So going back, I think you asked three really good questions. Like A, what's a pattern interrupt? B, how do we aggregate small wins to ensure that our momentum is positive direction and not negative? And then C, like what are how do we in the moment make better choices? So first thing I think is the easiest one is like, how do we in the moment make better choices? We have to ask better questions. And so I think this is very superficial level because, if we don't talk about identity and some of the environment, we're not going to really be able to ask this question appropriately. But I'll say this, like when you go to eat those Sun Chips or when you're going to eat that chocolate chip cookie, ask yourself before you put that in your mouth, what do I want from this? Not, is this good or bad? Because I think that that's a really negative pattern to go down. Oh, I'm eating clean. I'm eating dirty. I'm going to cheat meals. I hate cheat. Like that, the whole idea of cheat's stupid. You wouldn't cheat on your partner. Why would you cheat on your diet? Like that's stupid. So making those choices consciously is really huge. So like at night, when I eat carbohydrates at night, I make that choice consciously because the way I set my diet up, I eat all my carbohydrates at night and it's totally fine. It's awesome. It allows me to fall asleep deeper and I wake up with a lot of energy and I don't do it during the day. So that's a choice I've made. And so when I go to eat a bigger meal, Chipotle, have dessert, have a couple drinks, whatever else, I've done that intentionally. The second question is like environment and how do you set yourself up in a way that facilitates the decisions you want to make? Well, number one is if I don't want to eat chocolate chip cookies, if I'm trying to like cut some weight down, can't have that shit in the house. Because if there is a baked good in my house, if there's banana bread in the fridge, guaranteed that's going inside of me, inside my mouth. It's not an option for me to not eat it. I have very limited self-control with that. So self-control for me starts at the grocery store, and that's hard this time of year, like during the holidays, when people are just like candy here, whatever else. So don't be afraid to throw that shit in the garbage. You don't want to eat Sun Chips, put it in the trash. Like that's really the only solution, because I think that especially later on at night, there was a study they did and it was with chocolate chip cookies, by the way. They put a chocolate chip cookie out on a counter and during the day, all day long, there was about an 18% chance that someone was going to consume that chocolate chip cookie. And about 6 p.m. on, that flip-flopped about an 88% chance that cookie was getting eaten. So just don't put yourself in environments where there's a chocolate chip cookie staring you down and you have to white knuckle your way to success here, because guaranteed you've been making decisions all day. You've been parenting. You've been, like you get down with your day and you're like, I don't have any like muscle left to flex on my willpower. I'm going to eat the cookie. So don't put yourself in a position, because the house always wins. The cookie always wins. So get rid of that. And that's going to make like setting up the environment like just so much easier. And then also kind of, Mike, what I liked about you said, like pattern interrupts. Like if you think about your living room, right? It's you sit down on the couch. What are you most likely going to do?
In my living room, read a book, because there's a stack of books, but I set it up intentionally to your point. But if I'm in the TV room, it's going to turn on the TV.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And that's amazing. For me, my living room, all the things in my living room face the TV. So if I sit on the couch, the TV goes on because that's what the environment points to. So if we can set up our environment in a way that facilitates the outcome that we're looking for, like clearing out like the easy level snacks, putting stuff a little bit harder, like it's harder to get to, even just adding a little bit of friction to those things that we want to make harder, and then adding some and lubing the process on the things we make easier, like stacking your gym clothes in your bag, going on the way home from work rather than going home and then trying to go to the gym after dinner. How do we lubricate the process and the things that we want to prioritize, and how do we add friction to the process of things we want to eliminate?
That's awesome. Yeah, I love this, and I think it's interesting. I don't know. Maybe we can link to that study around the, when at night it flips over, and I guess that's just because of just the decision fatigue, and you're just tired. Kind of that idea. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I can attest to Mike's point. I mean, there are books literally everywhere around his house, and it's one of the things that inspires me every time I'm there. Because it's like there's just stacks and stacks and stacks. You can't avoid it. You can't even go to the bathroom without encountering self-help at Mike's house, which is good.
That is true.
So this is this is great.